All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are back at it again, bringing you a brand new video. And in this video, we are going to be looking at a trade review. Trade reviews are so important, very important for you to journal your trade, because how do you expect to get better over the course of 3 6 months when you look at your trade reviews? How are you going to know which trade is working, which trade is not working? On top of that, we're not just going to look at one of my trade reviews, but we are going to look at maybe one or two from the private group as well. And then we also did a killer back testing session that we will also have a look at the end. By the way, on Monday, I'm going to be uploading probably one of the most important videos that I've uploaded on my YouTube, and that is talking with the CEO of my personal broker that I use, and that is Global Prime. I'm talking to the man himself, the CEO. I ask the tough questions, and if you are going to be giving these guys your money, $5,000, $500, $100,000, a couple $1,000,000, they're going to be holding your money. It's very important that you understand this. I'm not just asking, oh, how did you get into the broker business? Or what is your number one tip? Why do you think people fail? No, it's not your average interview. All right. I asked the tough questions like, hey, what's the difference between an A book, B book? Where are you guys making your money? What are the scams going on in the industry? Why do you think that the retail trader should be having access to trade receipts? How do you read a trade receipt? What is really going on in the back end? Where is my money being held with these guys? These are very important questions, and I'm not going to be doing interviews or anything like that. This is one that I really want you guys to watch, so stay tuned on that on Monday. Very important video. All right, let's get into it. Let's check out, where's trade review? Trade review. Austin's trade review. Let's have a look at one of them, USD Canadian. This was a little short-term trade I took earlier this week. Pretty simple. I was using obviously the supply and demand methodology, kind of looking where big institutions or where big money is buying and selling. And I started here on the 4-hour time frame, and when I scrolled out to see the bigger picture of what's actually going on, what do you notice here? Do you notice it's in a range? To be honest, I think a 2-year-old kid could figure this out. If you have told them, hey, where would you want to buy? Where would you want to sell? I'm pretty sure they'd be like, it looks like a good idea to be selling up here, and it looks like a good idea to be buying down here, right? Pretty simple. So with price back up into this general area of where sellers have previously taken control once, twice, 3 times, 4 times, 5 times, why the heck not shouldn't you be looking for selling opportunities, right? Every other time it's gone down. So I'm just kind of playing the odds as, hey, it's gone down before, potentially it might go down again. So what I did, hey, I want to be looking for selling opportunities, so I went down to this 5-minute time frame, right? Went down to a smaller time frame and I was like, cool, I want to see some buyers stepping in, or sorry, sellers stepping in. Sometimes I get those confused. It's one of my pet peeves of mine is when people start calling supply zones demand zones and demand zones supply zones, and gets on my nerve, but I do make that mistake sometimes, but I do correct it. So what I wanted to see was opposing zones being removed and momentum lines being broken. I wanted to see structure being broken. And this is actually something that we did backtest in this week's backtesting video in the private group on Wednesday. And we're going to get into the stats of that. And that was really trying to see when evidence of sellers or buyers are coming in. In this case, because I want to be looking for selling opportunities, I wanted to see evidence of buyers being removed, sellers stepping in. So we are going to start seeing smaller time frame structure being broken, momentum line, pivot points, demand zones being removed, being broken. And that's exactly what we got here. This was at the end of the day close going into the next day, right? So this was like 2 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, about 5:30 p.m. or something like that, East Coast. So what I saw was a big, strong gap down in price, and we also had a candle confirming the imbalance, saying, hey, price accepted the imbalance. It's not like the very next candle price shot all the way back up and filled the gap. So that was telling me, hey, I want to be selling this pullback if prices come back up into it. Now the thing is, I didn't actually see this setup until later over here. I wasn't on the charts. But one of the things I wanted to do was, hey, this was a pretty good selling opportunity. The spread is low right now. And what I noticed is if you look previously right before prices started coming into the zone is price held once, twice, 3 times, 4 times directly on this line. And I know I'm in an area where sellers are taking control and buyers are being removed. So what I thought is I would place a sell stop order right there if prices break out to the downside, and I will get filled on the way down. You know what I mean? If it goes up and breaks it, then well, I didn't get in the trade and I saved myself some money, right? But in this case, it fell. I had my take profit around here, my first one, and then what I did was I wanted to manage my position because I did have quite a big zone. And so I moved my stop loss actually to break even on my second position, and I actually got stopped out right there on the pullback. So that sucks because then price actually continued on going way down here actually. Would have been a nice trade, but there is a little trade review for you guys. Now, here is one. Let's go into the trade review tab for the members. Let's look at this one that Joseph sent in, kind of giving him some feedback. You know, it's very important to have somebody reviewing your trades. Without having that, how do you know what you're actually doing is correct, right? So he is in the private group. I do work with the guy. And so what he's trying to do right here is provide me with why he's looking for buying or selling opportunities. We talked about this in the Sunday meeting. So the problem I have with this, with the buy that he took, was the higher time frame, the daily, was not very good. And this is one of the problems that I see everybody doing. A lot of people, when they send me charts, and I see it all the time in my private group, and I tell people, do not do this. You got to get away from this. Is people, what people do is they start scrolling in right into like the last 10-5 candles on a big time frame, and they're like, hey, I want to be buying in here, right? Or hey, I want to be selling. And what they're doing is they're drilling down into a big time frame, but what's only been happening over the last 10 candlesticks. And really what they should be doing is kind of be looking at the bigger picture of things and say, hey, what has price previously been doing over the last 30, 40 candles? How do you know that price is not in a big sideways range and you're sitting inside like supply or at the top of the range? Or there's other indicators or methodologies out there like screaming like you should not be buying in here. You can only see that if you start scrolling out and kind of look at the big picture of things, right? Now, the problem that I had with this is what the area where he was buying was not in a very good area. And we talked about this saying, look what's been happening over the last, say, 15, 20 candles, right over here. It's been grinding up, right? Grinding is not imbalance. It's a small imbalance, I guess you could say, but there is no big money coming in. These are just small grinding price grinding up, right? What we want to see is strong candlesticks that look like this, right? Just very big, obvious candlesticks. When you have price grinding like this, is that really an indication of strong imbalance, especially if you're trading supply and demand, where you're kind of looking for basically strong imbalances? No. So that's the problem that I have with this, is there is no really good imbalance here. Yes, you did have one good leg out candle. I get that. Buyers did step in over here, but before, what was it doing? It was just grinding up, 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 and then has a strong imbalance? No. We always say actually you're probably likely to get a small bounce from there, but it's not something that you want to be trading. Instead, I would rather be trading like these obvious zones, maybe something like down in here where there was not much time, or maybe some, not even this zone, to be honest. That's a lot of time going sideways, right? Maybe in here, not much time going sideways. There was no grinding up into this little demand zone. Compare it to this where it's grinding up, right? So that's one thing that I do not like about this trade that he took, and I would never do that. But his lower time frame was pretty good. You know, he was waiting for these buyers to step in. Actually, when I have a second look at this, no, I don't like it. He actually bought this demand zone when prices broke his so-called higher time frame demand. So this demand was broken, it broke through it, and then he still took the pullback. So he's not even buying inside higher time frame demand, right? But hey, if I'm not here to actually correct his mistakes, he's going to continue making the mistakes. So this is why it's so important to actually have somebody that's going to teach you this and go through the whole program, step one, step two, step three, all in a 3-week, 4-week training, and then come into the Discord group as well. And when you post your trades, we can talk about them, say, hey, I like what you did here, I like what you did here, but I don't like this or this. Get rid of that. Or I strongly recommend not doing that. You guys know what I mean? And then in the Wednesday meetings, we go over everybody's trades and say, hey, good job on this, but no, I don't like this. Hey, you have a trade idea coming up this next week? What is it? Let's talk about it. You know, you're not surrounded around idiots that are just trying to just throw darts at a board and trying to wing it. No, you're around serious traders that are investing in themselves that want to make this work, right? So I do value my time, and they know that. So if they are willing to put in the work, I will put in the work as well with them and help them. It's pretty simple. So if you guys did want to check that out more into the private group, I will put links down below. It is moneyballtrading.com, and I would love to have you guys on board. It's the full program, week 1, week 2, week 3, top-down analysis, the in-depth methodology of the course, the Discord group where we have all our meetings, the watch list, the ideas. It's everything. You have somebody that's going to guide you down. You have the system, you have the mentorship, and you have the community. Those are the 3 things I recommend. Now for the back testing, something that we did back test earlier on Wednesday, we were looking at this setup. Now what we did was took about an hour and a half to do this session, so not nearly enough trades, but it's really just to show people the importance of back testing, and we're kind of testing out little theories. And it sparked my interest to actually invest more into this theory about this methodology. There's so many different ways to be trading, and that's what I do preach. But for this, we took 21 trades. We had 14 profitable trades and 7 losing trades. So that's pretty good stats right there. What is that? 66, 67 win rate? What we were really testing was just testing one time frame trading at certain areas. And what we were curious about is if you have this type of confirmation or this type of price action happening where you break momentum and you remove supply zones, just buying this zone straight up, right? And that's what we were testing, playing one time frame, the daily time frame, and waiting for that to happen. Same thing in an uptrend. Price is going in an uptrend. I wanted to see a big stack of sellers coming in and then buyers being removed and selling that. You guys know what I mean? So that's what we were testing. I'm going to test this more, but I want to test it more in a smaller time frame. Maybe it's something that I use in my trading into the future. And this is all very important stuff to do, is continue working on your craft, continue working on your game, creating a better strategy. All right, I'm going to let you guys go with that. If you guys really did appreciate this video, please hit that like button, subscribe, comment. If you have any questions, let me know, and make sure you watch the video on Monday. It is extremely important. You are giving these guys hundreds of thousands of dollars potentially in the future, millions of dollars, a couple $1,000s, doesn't matter. You're giving them your money. You need to know how the business game works on the broker side. Not just you, but who's holding your money, how are the transactions happening, where are they making their money, are they taking the opposite side of your trade? You know what I mean? There's so many good questions. Where do you get the commissions? How do you come up with the commission value? Are you just calling it a $5 per lot trade, or like how are you actually coming up with $5? Please explain that to me. Understanding what client profiling is. It's all very important stuff, and it's one of the videos that I need everybody to watch and listen to. All right? It's very important to know how your broker works. I will let you guys go with that. Have a great weekend. Cheers, everybody.